Hey everybody, happy Friday. It's Fridays with Fontes. And yes, I'm wearing the exact same clothes I wore last week because we're pre-recording this one today, February 21st. But it's cool because we've got some really good stuff going. Did you change the background, by the way,
I did.
for this one? Okay, fantastic. Got a couple of quick things we wanted to talk about. The Talking Book Live, we'll get right into it. Did I already say who I am? I'm Adrian Fontes, Secretary of State in Arizona. I don't want to be rude, but it is what it is. The Talking Book Library. Talking Book Library is really awesome. And what it does is it distributes for folks who, for whatever reason, can't get to or cannot read like traditional regular books, like in different mediums. And they create audio books. They have these tapes and these other ways of distributing reading materials for folks across the state. It's a free service. It's phenomenal. We serve about 5,000 Arizonans out of the Talking Book Library every year. It's a really, really wonderful service. Anyway, they're doing an open house on March the 14th. They're going to be offering free tours, might have some guest speakers. If you know of anyone who might learn, they might have a visual disability, they might have some other cognitive disability that prevents them from enjoying a regular book. The Talking Book Library will take those books and do all kinds of really cool stuff. I've actually recorded a book. I mean, it was Grumpy Monkey, but it's still a book. I recorded it for the Talking Book Library. What are you guys laughing at? You were there. Anyway, it's pretty awesome. So, like, they do a lot of audiobook stuff. So, that's pretty cool. Anyway, open house March 14th. Check out our website for more. And Two Lights for Tomorrow, April 18th. Now, this is to celebrate the America 250 program. I am the chair of the America 250, Arizona's America 250 Commission. What is America 250? It's the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the birth of this nation. July 4th, 2026. We're going to kick it off this April 18th with a project called Two Lights for Tomorrow. Now, we didn't originate this in Arizona. All the state commissions have been doing a lot of different work, and I think it was some folks in the upper Midwest that came up with this. Two Lights for Tomorrow, April 18th. It is the 250th anniversary of the Ride of Paul Revere. April 18th, just in a month and a half or so. April 18th, 2025. 250 years, one if by land, two if by sea. They came over the water. Two lights. What we're going to do here at the state capitol is awesome. We're going to have like an F-16 flyover. We're going to have two big searchlights, one on top of the House and one on top of the Senate at the old, at the Capitol complex. We're going to have like what do you call it? A Paul Revere,
Like reenactment?
a reenactment guy, and there might be a special guest. We don't know yet. He hasn't confirmed as of this taping, but maybe as of today when we're showing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Two Lights for Tomorrow is going to be awesome. It's going to be not just here at the Arizona State Capitol, but we've been going all over the state talking about this with mayors who are going to do it at city halls and county officials who will be doing it at the courthouses and libraries. Businesses across Arizona are going to be putting two lights in the window on April 18th to commemorate the Ride of Paul Revere and get us started on that 250th anniversary celebration. So look for that. Now, our book of the week is a dissertation submitted to the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Dayton. Now, this is an interesting thing because the University of Dayton is not in Arizona. Some of you might know that. It's called This Far by Faith, and it is the history of Black Catholics in Phoenix from 1868 to 2003. Now, this dissertation was for someone to get their PhD, and it was submitted by Vernon Joseph Meyer in May of 2004, so it's not too old. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, so I'm not even going to pretend like I've read it, but I think it is a phenomenal opportunity for folks to learn about a particular part of our community here in the greater Phoenix area. Again, it's called This Far by Faith, The History of Black Catholics in Phoenix, Arizona, 1868 to 2003, by Vernon Joseph Meyer. It is a comprehensive look at Black Catholics in the U.S., particularly in the Phoenix area. So that is our book of the week, and we hope that you can, check it out. Your local library is connected somehow, probably to the state library, if that interests you. check with your local librarian. And so we move on to the next subject, questions. But wait, should we do it before the questions or after the questions? I have a surprise for you, okay? But I'm going to do it after the questions. So let's do the questions. There's a little teaser. Does Arizona need a Department of Government Efficiency? I don't know. If you've got guys like me who actually make their own departments more efficient, you don't need a separate department. That seems a little redundant, right? If you're creating a whole new bureaucracy to make everything else more efficient, aren't you really creating some redundancy in there? Not sure. But that's a governance question, I guess. I don't know the answer to that question. That's a really, really good question. Yeah, if there's a department whose job it is to go snoop around and make sure that everybody else is being efficient, isn't that the legislature's job?
Or the CIA.
Or the CO through the budgeting process, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a good question. It would add a layer of bureaucracy. I'm pretty sure, like, you have to report to the Office of Government Efficiency on how efficient you're being, and then maybe they audit you. We already have a legislature. We already have an auditor general. So we kind of maybe already do have an Office of Government Efficiency in some way. But I think the notion makes a lot of sense because a lot of people think that there's a lot of government waste. And, okay, that's cool. Well, show us where the waste is. That's what I want to know because, you start cutting some government programs like libraries. Like, what are you going to do to rural communities where it's not just a library, it's a community center. It's an emergency service center. It's a place where, folks actually in some rural libraries, they find medical care. The Arivaca Library down in Santa Cruz County actually has a room in it with telemedicine to Tucson Medical Center. And they can see a doctor at their library. So, there's a lot of interconnectivity in some spaces, particularly in greater Arizona. So, I wouldn't be cutting a whole bunch of stuff real quick. But, yeah, there's always room for improvement of process and efficiency, sure. All right. Are there any local elections coming up? Well, Talk Tucson special election March 11th for Prop 414. We don't have any statewide elections, first, I should say that. But there are some local and jurisdictional elections. Down in Tucson, the old Pueblo, they're going to be asking voters to consider a half-cent sales tax increase for the next 10 years to fund a safer and more vibrant Tucson. If it's approved by the voters, on Tuesday, March 11th, the city sales tax rate will increase to 3.1%. What is it in Phoenix? It's higher than that already, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't it like 8%?
I think it is 8%.
I think so.
Yeah, so Tucson's got a good deal going. And generate a projected $800 million over those 10 years. Don't get my comments wrong. I'm not for or against it. I don't live in Tucson. I don't pay taxes down there. But I do know the elections officials down there are going to do their level best to make sure everybody has a good shot at getting their ballots cast. So that's Prop 414, City of Tucson, March 11th. Special election. Okay. Arizona's got some gems hidden all over the place, and if you don't know where to look, you might not know where to find it. I didn't know to look for this little gem, but I found it one time on the campus at Eastern Arizona College in Thatcher, Arizona. Now, Thatcher and this great town called Safford are kind of butted up against each other, sort of like Phoenix and Tempe or Scottsdale and Phoenix or Phoenix and Glendale or kind of Phoenix and all kinds of towns. Anyway, in Safford, there's this great company called the Southeastern Bottling Company of Arizona. Now, the Southeastern Bottling Company of Arizona used to have some folks who worked there, namely a couple of siblings by the name of Susan Decker and her brother, Carl Shade and Michael Shade. Susan Decker wanted to create a particular kind of soda, and she did. It is, some people call it a mix between Dr. Pepper and like a cherry cola. In any event, it is one of the independent sodas that is made right here in the great state of Arizona, and you cannot find it in the Metro Phoenix area except for one place. You can get it at the Musical Instrument Museum because the chef down there by the name of Edward Farrow drives to Globe, which is the closest place you can get it if you live in the Metro Phoenix area. And you can buy it out of vending machines on the campus at Eastern Arizona College in Thatcher. And this place is named for one of Arizona's most interesting, I think, characters. His name was Doc Holliday, except the actual Doc Holliday only had one L in his name. This isn't actually him because they didn't want to run into any problems with his estate, I guess. So they dropped an L. This is phenomenal, and I think if we had been thinking about it, I would have had a nice glass of ice with me, and I would have popped it open, and I would have drank it and said, this is delicious. I've had this before. Right? You would have told me to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
See? So, anyway, Doc Holliday's phenomenal. You can get it at the Musical Instrument Museum. The folks out at Eastern Arizona College, when I was out there, what was it, about a year and a half ago or so, I fell in love with this and raved about it when I sent them a thank you note. They came and visited us a couple of weeks ago at the state capitol, and they brought me a few cans. So I wanted to present it to you. You cannot get this online, by the way, unless some entrepreneur decides to go out and buy a bunch and sell it. Doc Holliday, if you like Dr. Pepper, I'm not like pitching it as like a sales thing. I'm just telling you, this is a cool thing in Arizona that you cannot get anywhere else. So off you go, Southeastern Bottling Company of Arizona, a little hidden gem out in Safford. I think they do Pepsi products under contract with them, under some licensing agreement.
They do some bottling, yeah.
But they do some bottling out there for those folks. And so anyway, that is Fridays with Fontes for today. My name is Adrian Fontes. I am Arizona's Secretary of State. Always happy to be with you. Make sure you guys stay safe and sound this weekend, the weekend of, what is it, February 21st? I mean, we're pre-recorded, so, for today anyway. You guys have a good one, and make sure you keep your kids safe around water. Thanks.